No, ladies and gentlemen, your eyes do not deceive you. I was actually editing another video before I came across this absolutely insane tweet. We all know the drama going on with GB News right now. Laurence Fox, Dan Wootton being suspended over the segment that was aired the other day where inappropriate comments were made, but it now seems like the suspensions aren't stopping. Calvin Robinson is now the next one to be suspended from GB News. I think everybody at GB News got to be careful now. You know, don't say controversial opinion or you could be next, you could be drawn into the office. Don't do it. Now, obviously, what Laurence said shouldn't have been said, but I think we've gone past that now. I think this is entering the realm of illogical thinking because obviously we have GB News, who is apparently supposed to stand for freedom of speech. That's what they've based their whole platform on. That's why many people started watching them, talking about things the mainstream media didn't want to talk about. Now they're acting in very similar ways to the woke mob, cancel culture, leftists, liberals, progressives, and are cancelling people based on where they stand. Calvin Robinson, it seems like, has been suspended because he stood in solidarity with Laurence Fox and Dan Wootton, and it's got him suspended. I can't really believe it, honestly. I can't. One of the best voices on there as well has now gone, but we're going to check out a few tweets that are going on because we don't actually have a video like Laurence Fox posted yesterday. But as you can see, 11:45 this morning, Calvin Robinson tweets out, "I have been suspended from GB News." Voice was going there, sorry, just eating. That's how quickly I'm doing this video. But everybody seems to be in a state of shock right now, and I think, you know, this is really imploding on GB News. So if we head up, we see Talk TV, breaking news, GB News has suspended Reverend Calvin Robinson for apparently showing solidarity with Laurence Fox and Dan Wootton. I believe we have a tweet here where he says he won't be appearing on the Dan Wootton tonight without Dan Wootton because of the impact Dan Wootton has had on GB News. We head up. Breaking news, Calvin Robinson suspended from GB News. Calvin stands for Christian and family values and has been at many protests, walking the walk as well. Everyone should give Calvin their support as there is a much bigger fight at play. Anna McGovern, great voice, doing amazing things. What is going on at GB News? GB News star themselves as the home of free speech and have now suspended 3 of their presenters for exercising that right. First, Laurence Fox, then Dan Wootton, and now Calvin Robinson. You can lose your entire livelihood for having an opinion. Again, you know, regardless of what people think about what Laurence said, we've condemned it many times now. If you base your platform on being the home of freedom of speech and people exercise that right, you can then not act in a way that goes against that, because that means at the core of it, you do not stand for freedom of speech. You only stand for it when it suits you when talking about certain issues. It seems like with these comments from Laurence Fox, GB News have thought to themselves, right, we need to get ourselves out of this mess we're in. We need to look good in the eyes of the average person. The best thing to do is to suspend everybody. Everybody knows now why Laurence acted in the way he did because of Ava's comments towards men's mental health. And that's the big issue with all of this. You know, forget the suspensions for a second. The one thing that's being forgotten right now in all of this, is the core reason as to why this happened. Mental health, men's mental health. The message that the gentleman in the BBC politics debate that Ava was on was trying to get across has now been lost, because with all these suspensions, with all this news, we're now not talking about men's mental health. We're talking about freedom of speech and people being suspended, which is a good talking point, but the core message has been lost. It's a shame, right? It's a real shame. The Telegraph. GB News has suspended a 3rd presenter in the fallout over misogynistic comments made on the channel continues. Let's see if we can get into this Telegraph article. Is there going to be a paywall? Oh, there isn't. What a surprise there. GB News has suspended a 3rd presenter as the fallout over misogynistic comments made on the channel continues. The Rev Calvin Robinson has been taken off air after he posted comments on social media supporting Dan Wootton, who had already been suspended along with former actor Laurence Fox. Reverend Robinson, a deacon in the Free Church of England, said Wootton was being targeted by careerist, ambitious people who are currently gunning for his job, which they probably are. There are probably people looking at the spot now thinking, right, this is it for me now, I can get on the prime spot. He also took aim at GB News News bosses saying they were afraid of Ofcom. They are afraid of the woke mob and afraid they're going to run out of money unless they manage to sort out this advertising problem. And that's one of the biggest issues with this, which is why you're probably seeing this. And, you know, it's why social media platforms as well act in certain ways. It's advertisers. You know, advertisers will say, well, if you're going to allow this sort of rhetoric to be on your show, on your social media platform, as X went through many times, we're not going to put adverts on there. Simple as that. And that's how the company makes a lot of money. Wootton and Fox were suspended earlier in the week after Fox made comments about a female journalist while he was a guest on Dan Wootton Tonight. Again, what we're seeing here is the Telegraph ignoring why Laurence Fox said what he said. Obviously, it's not justified in the way he said it, but they're leaving out as to why it was said. Very convenient. He said of Ava, who works for the Politics Joe website, who would want to shag that. Fox has since issued an apology to Miss Evans for his demeaning comments, but said he expected to be sacked. These people are worse than the woke mob. Reverend Robinson said of the decision to suspend Wootton, these people are worse than the woke mob because these vultures are giving the mob ammunition and essentially escalating the channel's demise. GB News is more than a job. It's certainly more than a chance to be on the telly. It is a mission, an opportunity to shift the dial in public discourse, to have the conversations the shills on the other channels cannot or will not have. We must do all we can to avoid GB News becoming just another mainstream media outlet, which it will if we let it. I think it is slowly becoming that. It's no longer the platform I think people thought it was, which, you know, is a massive shame. I think as we move further into the future, we're becoming more sensitive to certain comments. And yeah, you know, we have to keep on saying, because I said in a previous video beforehand, people only listen to what they want to hear. Of course, what Laurence said was wrong, inappropriate, shouldn't be said about a woman, especially on live TV, right? But this live TV show based itself on freedom of speech, so there's the argument there. But as we do go further into the future, we are becoming more sensitive, and when we do that, and when the power is given to the woke mob, leftists, the idea of freedom of speech, in my opinion, can no longer exist, because if you have to tiptoe around certain issues because you're scared of controversy, backlash, and we're not talking about Laurence Fox comments right now, we're talking about just in general, the idea of freedom of speech doesn't exist because you're not exercising how you really feel, what you truly feel. And people want authenticity. People don't want, you know, people just sat there reading off the teleprompter. Yeah, okay, here's the news today. People like authenticity. They like a personality, which is lacking in the mainstream media. Also, the lies that they tell. And now what we're seeing is GB News, I think, slowly shifting into just another mainstream media outlet where clearly they will say, hey, look, if you say something that gets us into a lot of trouble, we will suspend you. And where is the line drawn on that? You know, where is the line drawn on that? Because are they going to have to dial it down a lot now? Are certain things not going to be able to be said? Can they talk about the culture war, gender ideology, and all those other issues? Can they stand up for things that are impacting women and men? Who knows? Because if you say the wrong thing and there's a lot of backlash, you know, that's it. It could be it for you. It's a bad position they've put themselves in. But suspending Calvin Robinson just because he stood by two people is crazy. And it just does show you how much power the woke mob actually has when it comes to things like this. You know, they have a huge grip on society, and we're clearly seeing that grip being tightened and exercised right now. But what are your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, on Calvin Robinson being suspended? Leave your thoughts down below. I would like to know. If you have enjoyed, please, for me, make sure to leave a like rating, as it really, really helps out the channel. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Share this video. But until next time, until tomorrow, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day. Stay safe. And I'm out. Peace.